with new production systems, technologies and varieties, which may actually be a better use of the land than in its previous use under domestic ownership. But if it comes with de facto trade restrictions in the way it's set up in the corporate aspirations of the investor as they express them, there is a cost, economic cost, including to the importing country. But not only is there an economic cost, I think there is also a very large community support cost and therefore a potential threat to social licence to operate. It tends to the counter-reaction could actually be to dampen a very valuable source of capital and technology for meeting the global food security challenge. Yep, thank you. How far am I now? I'm getting there. Now, the bad thing about having an iPad is when you scroll down to see how far you've got to go, you lose your place going back. Yep. So enlightened community-sensitive foreign ownership, particularly if it comes with technology, may have a growing and positive role, but needs to be carefully managed. So now I'm going to finish with some oversight of Victoria's contribution to food security as we would see it, and as DPI particularly sees it. As I said earlier, our challenge and opportunity is to contribute to global food security through exports and to assist with the boost to productivity and competitiveness that is required to actually make it there, bearing in mind that with other claims on natural resources, the competition for those resources for sometimes reasons other than production, of course, that we are working against some arguably necessary constraints, and therefore it's not just a question of looking to increase, it's also to mitigate some constraining factors on productivity. Certainly, but whichever we're doing, boosting or at least avoiding decline, sustainable productivity growth and market access, and in a fragmented, highly regulated food system, market access negotiations to ensure you can get product A to market B without having to go through unreasonable hoops that eventually block you from doing so or raise the cost too high, are key success factors to our export performance and our contribution to food security. And we, as a government, work with industry and other governments and other stakeholders, I would add, to improve these success factors through research and development into new plant varieties, livestock breeding, farm systems research, the traditional means of attempting to boost agriculture, but shaped to meet today's challenges, sustainability and productivity challenges. Extension, that old-fashioned term, to transfer knowledge from our research and development and indeed global research into the farm sector. The regulation of biosecurity, the safety, and indeed the regulation of primary processing safety, chemical use, animal welfare, are all there to address not only the fundamental values they're seeking to protect, but in some cases, almost more to protect market access. The management of emergencies to minimise impacts of incursions and natural disasters falls to my department, and we, if I look at the list of the last 4 years of incursions and natural disasters that we've been dealing with, it looks like it's most of what we've done. That would be a false impression, but it's a very impressive list. Policy and regulatory reform are essential to improve efficiency of input and output markets, water, land use planning, grain handling, the list is long. Supply chain development, which we deal with not only by advocating and inputting to infrastructure planning, we don't do that planning, but we certainly have input to it, but also the R&D we do into value chain enhancement, basic means by which the right product is picked or harvested or in other ways produced at the right time and conveyed through the right means to be in the right condition in the importing country. And last of all, repeating my earlier point, negotiating with importing countries on removing trade barriers. Now, as I said, it's a reasonably standard list. Departments of Agriculture have been doing them for years, but they take on a different set of objectives because of today's sustainability challenges. It's not just about productivity, it's dealing with the sustainability issue through innovation in varieties, breeds, farm practices, market-based approaches such as cap and trade schemes for water and carbon, and we have in Victoria, in collaboration with DSC, established limited market-based incentives for native vegetation. Indeed, they have established them, but with our input. And direct regulation for some aspects of effluent management, biodiversity and so on. And Without going into chapter and verse, DPI has spent a lot of time in the last 4 years trying to re-strategise, restructure, reorient our service offer to use what are inevitably limited resources to further the goals of productivity and sustainability in pursuit of, in the end, food security amongst other things. We have additional roles slated for us under this new government in overseeing private land management and facilitating investment in primary processing. And they have yet, though, to be operationalised, and the potential for those really sized by my department. In the end, how much will these combined efforts boost global food security is very difficult to predict. We attempt in what we do to have a clear sense of what values we will create in productivity, sustainability, but aggregating all that up into a picture of how effective we'll be and how successful the Victorian food sector will itself be in contributing food security is a fraught process. I mean, crystal balls don't exist. Droughts, floods, and indeed global market gyrations, exchange rate movements, and all those make such a difference to how well we perform that trying to predict is a fool's game. And one can only do at the next level down what is possible to avoid slipping back and hopefully to recover some of the productivity growth rates that we used to enjoy in previous years. So to conclude, as a country with a comparative advantage in food production, Australia arguably has quite strong responsibility to do what we can to contribute to the global challenge of food security, which, while not wishing to embrace catastrophe scenarios, is certainly quite a challenge. And by meeting the challenges of climate and resource competition, then we'll not only contribute to meeting that global demand, but we'll also have some opportunities, we would hope, to indeed to boost our share. And in the end, what's the punchline for how we seek to go about it? We are looking for a productive, competitive, sustainable agriculture sector, feeding open global food markets with appropriate, but no more than appropriate, regulation to ensure that we get all of these various values in balance, and in the end the world's food security is ensured. And I think I've pretty well hit my 20 minutes, so thank you.